You're listening to Bluebird on Your Shoulder, three voices pushing back against Trump, MAGA, and the lies that make authoritarianism possible, facts over fear, process over power. Season 2.
Season 2. Episode 18, too, I'm pretty sure. So, damn, already 18 weeks of this bullshit and not a whole lot has changed. Yeah, we're going to jump right off like this. Motherfucker is in China.
He is in China.
And I think there's some interesting rhetoric coming. So China warned pretty clearly that there could be clashes or conflicts and clashes over Taiwan if it's not handled correctly. And that's strong language diplomatically.
So, and not only that, they're really positioning themselves to be able to demand that the U.S. make concessions in regard to security and weapons for Taiwan if they want China to step in and help with the Iran situation. So
that's true too. That's super true. I think it's really interesting, right? Like I think there's a lot of they basically said y'all ain't shit no more.
So I was trying to find it. There's an old philosophy from Athens, Greece days where basically because Athens was rising in power, Sparta and them were considered doomed to go to war because even if they didn't want to go have a conflict, the fear of a rising power versus an established power is enough to spark conflict. Xi actually brought it up and cited it, basically kind of reminding us that they are coming for place as the fiat currency and the global power.
I think the yen's pretty far off from being the fiat currency, but you have to own the petro yen first. It needs to be the petro yen. However, I do.
I just started, so
yeah. I think at the end of the day, fiat currency is in its last breaths.
Well, so last year I went over this with charts and whatnot, showing that kind of as our dollar weakens and stops being used as much, and China's is on the rise, we're about to hit that intersection, and it's right about on time for the average ebb and flow of fiat currencies. I think it was 200 years or 150 years or something like that.
That's the financial advice that got him kicked off the show. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah. So it's really interesting that they're there, right? And Trump released a statement saying that Xi eloquently said we're a declining nation.
That's basically what I was saying. Yeah.
But that you said that you put out there that he said that to you. And he said, and then he tried to spin it and be like, because he was talking about Biden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you just admitted that the president of China looked you in the face and said you're not shit.
Well, the thing that really kind of has me scratching my head is the amount of CEOs that went with our U.S. government to this summit. BlackRock, Boeing, all of these financial and and defense contractors are all there. Crazy to me.
Yeah, I think it is pretty crazy. It's that, but they supposedly said that they wouldn't give Iran military equipment, and I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Even if they did give Iran military equipment, why would that be a problem? Like, why would what? Like China's military equipment shouldn't make the difference in the war, and if it does, woefully unprepared, per usual. So, I didn't even notice. I'm immune to you sharing articles. So I didn't even notice. I'm still looking at your little picture on the screen, and like somehow it didn't register in my brain. Elon's there.
Elon is there.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So SpaceX, I was just reading the amount of satellites that SpaceX has up right now is over 1,000 versus everybody else for like a total of like 600 or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus the plan for the new space station, the moon base. That's all being being worked out right now. And let's see, who was it? Who else was it? Yeah, like I said, BlackRock is there. Apple's Tim Cook, Goldman Sachs. Um, they're all there. Um, well, yeah, Larry Fink. We've talked a lot about him. Boeing
Stinky
CEO,
Finky.
Nvidia's there. Qualcomm. All of them are there, and I mean that is a lot of money and a lot of technology all coming together in China.
Well, that's
With
where it all fucking is. So why are we shocked by that?
well, not really. Like Citi, Goldman Sachs, all the money is here,
Okay, you're right.
and
The tech
and you
is
know,
there. The
and then
money
you
is
have
here.
and SpaceX is here. So Nvidia, yeah, Nvidia's base here. Um, GE Aerospace, Illumina, and Coherent, Cisco. I mean, this is a lot of stuff that seems to be like to me like why would all of these guys need to be there, especially in that configuration? And to me, it is kind of interesting considering today was when they released that new UFO drop declassification. So they just
Where the homies at, bro? We need them.
we so that's that's kind of what I'm saying is that like a lot of this looks like what you would need to put together for space exploration, and China being, you know, basically number two in the world as far as pushing up into space. Maybe
Okay, well
hold.
let's go. Let's go,
Are we putting together some global defense? Are we?
dude. I wouldn't. Fuck them.
You wouldn't?
No, bro. Look, here's the deal. If you want some, come get some. All right, because it's gonna go one of two ways. Either you want the whole place, and well, it's gonna be a fight, or you just want to help us out, and it's gonna be a party. So those are and by help us out, I mean take care of these motherfuckers. We're good. We didn't do anything. We just live here. I just think it's an interesting topic I did not expect, but we're going here. So I think there's a possibility, like, if that they would be hostile, right? And that they would be coming because they, like, need our resources. So they'd take us out, right? Because that's the only reason to take us out, right? It's the only reason to risk it, right? But I think that applies a very, what is the defense mechanism? It puts it applies the standards of human beings to them to think that they would do that, right? Because that's some shit human beings would do.
Sorry. Sorry.
What's the defense mechanism? What's the projection? That's projecting. That's projecting human beings would. The aliens. That's why they would come here to kill us all. No, that's why we would go there. 100%.
Well, I mean, that's I forget what I forget what it was called. I forget what movie it was. Dang it. Anyways, they talk about the if you look at human history and any time that a culture that is technologically more advanced than another culture encounters them, it is never met with peace,
Hey,
love,
how
and
you
harmony.
doing? No, because we're human beings. That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. When
But here's the thing: if you look at
that
if
doesn't
you
remain true all the way down the animal kingdom.
true, right? So like if you look at that's what I was gonna say is if you look at the animal kingdom, they only have ever taken exactly what they need in order to
Right.
move through their
Yeah,
biological
and
processes.
there's plenty of species that coexist peacefully with other tribes.
Almost
Um,
all.
almost
The
right. Yeah, there are
even
a few
even
who don't.
even well, I mean, even predators will only kill as much as they need, and then you can watch the African Serengeti, and you'll see lions right next to wildebeest drinking out of the same pond with crocodiles right out there. So like there's a mutual understanding of when it's appropriate, when conflict isn't allowed. But whenever we've gone into, I mean, we're really the only ones that we can really see as a species with um I'm not going to say a higher intellect. I'm going to say with an ego, where we feel justified in taking more than what we need. I think that um, because we're the only ones that we can really gauge that off of, the the assumption is that if they have the technology to get here, then they're going to also have the same type of ego.
Projection. This is what I said from the beginning. That's a lot of words to say. We assume because projection. Because human beings are definitely ego driven, right? That's me more than most, but they're definitely ego driven species. So that may not be the case, right? Like, the Cylons could actually be cool. So, you
Here's
know,
the thing: if they were cool, then you would assume that they would land, give us a chance to, you know, come out and meet them, and then they would give us, you know, the we come in peace.
why the fuck would you do that? We killed our savior. What the fuck do you mean you would do that? So where we can completely fucking agree, right, is that like they're probably pretty fucking smart if they can get here. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Smart enough to know these motherfuckers cannot be trusted. They're ruthless. So we are. Oh yeah, you're preaching this, and we don't like it. Dead. We're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Like that. Why would you just roll up like, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah. You all need to be nice to each other.
Yeah, they're gonna end up in a room getting fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the? Why would they do that? That makes no fucking sense at all. But it's a really interesting paradox, right? Like, if they if they show up now and they do go on to kill them all, I need before I die. Why did you show up when this dude was in charge? Like, why couldn't you show up like some other time? like
Yeah,
any
right.
other job. Like, what are you doing? That would be proof in the pudding that even the universe thinks you're a bitch, motherfucker. So, no, that's a really interesting theory you have that like this is actually a low key meeting on like the aliens are coming and fuck, dude. I mean, I will go back to I said it at some point. I don't know. I think it was in our first season. I think it was on the pod. That one of the very first things this dude did when he became president, the first time, was create a space force
Right.
out
Right.
of the Marine Corps. So not only did you create a space force, but you created a space force in the division that its whole job is to fuck people up. Like they don't have a lot of other jobs. Their job is to fuck people up, kill them all, let the medics sort them out. So and eat crayons. That's their job. So that's what you made the space force out of, fucking grunts. So and I always said like he's super reactive, right? So like, what did you read, bro, that made you do
Right.
that?
Exactly right.
Like, what did you get your hands on that your instinct was, well, I don't know why you guys haven't done this yet? Which, if all true, I'll give you that W. I will. I'll give you that W. Like,
Yeah.
you should give me some proof, but I'll give you that W all day. That's like one time your knee jerk bullshit worked out for us.
Right. Right.
So, and Elon Musk definitely wants laser rays. So he's probably the right guy. So, and they'll probably just give him Tesla's actual research. So, because that dude had death rates figured out a long time ago.
Right. Right.
He also had cold fusion figured out, but we won't get into that either. It's become a science pod. We talk about UFOs and cold fusion. People are here like, what the fuck's cold fission? Cold fusion, cold fission. It would be cold fission, but
Fission and fusion are two very different
I
ways
understand.
of getting.
It would be cold fission. It's what it would be. Just for the few sciencey people that we know, they're like, God damn it, Ryan. So, but yeah. So we got China, we got that, and then we have the economy here with gas prices average 450-ish. I don't know where that comes from, but that's what I read.
I think that's
A
what
little
what I
below
read.
450 here.
We're well, and from what I see, I think I shared that graphic with you yesterday. Um, the Midwest has the highest percentage of energy costs um, per capita um, than anywhere else right now. Even California and New
Well,
York.
yeah, because we're building data centers left and right, and they're
Well,
spiking
and
prices
because we
everywhere.
don't have as high a general income, so it's percentage based. So 5%
No,
of our
per
cost is
capita doesn't mean percent. Stop.
so yeah and there was a refinery fire in New Orleans, I think, something like that, um, over the weekend. So energy is definitely a concern that is going to start weighing heavy on our economy. I was listening to an economist today, and he was talking about, um, if we don't see a resolution with Iran here within the next 30 days, there's a good chance that we're going to have um, a lot of problems going
We
into the
already got a
war.
lot of fucking problems. They're
Right,
so
but
cute saying we're going to have a lot of problems. Like, where have you been? What kind of problems don't you have? Please, but I got 2 points to that. One, I'm gonna comment on something that you just said. Energy costs so much that it hurts everybody in the Midwest, like top to bottom, because
mhm.
we make less pound for pound. I'm sure that the CEO at Eli Lilly here in Indy is good, but outside of that, so I think it's really interesting that in response to his energy cost problem, he wants to suspend the federal gas tax, which I do believe is 18 cents. 18 cents per gallon. I'm pretty sure that's what the federal gas tax is. Tying into our earlier problem, the problem with suspending the federal gas tax is like our infrastructure's already trash as fuck.
I mean, we're in a better position than we have been in years because of the Build Back Better, but that was a much needed like flux of funding that paid for a lot of projects that had to be done, but for ongoing costs and ongoing
We need
maintenance,
100x that shit.
right.
So our infrastructure's super old, super crazy,
And we
but
don't tax the right people enough in order to keep up on its maintenance.
you
So
always find a way to eat the rich. It's cute. So we the other part of it I think is really interesting, right? So we have an energy problem. Okay. So almost like, I don't know, 35, 40 years ago. Okay, not 40, but
no, it's 40, right?
no, not 30 years ago, 35 years ago, we were on a very like go green kick for the very first time. Like save the planet, save the earth. These were things that were super common in our teenage years.
Yeah.
So I find this, and I've always found this really interesting, right? Like, would we be in an energy crisis if we invest heavily in, renewable energy sources 35 years ago? And here's my theory. It's really weird how this worked out. So, like, we identified that there was a hole in the ozone, right? You remember that?
Yep.
The hole in our ozone, right? There was some crazy out there, and there was all the urban myths and legends that we spread amongst ourselves as kids, right? That was like, fucking melt your face off if you go stand under the hole and things of that. But then the scientists came out and said, hey, there is a hole, but if like we stop using this product, then like the hole will go away. And we were all like, no fucking way that, what was that hairnet? The big aqua, big metal can, fucking 80s hair, all like this, right? But aerosols, right? That it would stop. And so, like, we did. Like, all these laws were passed and all this other stuff happened. And then, like, the hole in the ozone went away. And, like, there's not a hole in the ozone anymore. And at that same exact moment in time, we decided, fuck science. We can't believe it. Like, what happened? So, like, all the money that didn't want to change, that didn't want to innovate, that like, well, I don't know how to innovate. I'm actually stupid. So I'm gonna do this. And that's like the biggest piece of America ever missing is so many things innovated. Like so many train companies and railroad companies are like companies you know of today. You just didn't know they used to be railroad companies because they innovated when they realized the railroad was going to be obsolete, more or less. And so why did we just suddenly, because Al Gore lost? Is that what really happened? I think that's what happened. Al Gore lost and that was the end, right? Because I think if Al Gore wins that Supreme Court travesty election, we do invest heavily into renewables at that point, and we're probably a majority on, I don't know what works, solar, most likely. Elon is, I don't like him, but he's smart.
He is smart.
And he openly will tell you solar is the only renewable source that makes any sense, and it makes a shitload of sense. And I would tend to agree, because two parts. One, that fucking thing's pretty big and powerful. Two, if it goes away, we don't need energy anymore.
Right.
Because we're going away very quickly after it. Like, what is it? Like,
I mean,
like 12 minutes?
So I think that a good mix of wind, solar, and hydro is the right answer. And I wrote a 30-page research paper on it when I was in college, and realized that if I had been any good at math, I would have become an engineer.
Of course you would.
But I've always said that we needed to integrate green energy into our infrastructure. So like they have solar panels that act as windows that they've put on some buildings. There are there are turbines, the offshore turbine farms that Trump has paid companies over $1 billion to not move forward on is just it's burning my ass, because offshore wind farms are basically just free energy that's sitting there that, if anything, you're going to buffer a little bit the coasts so that, things like hurricanes can't, you know, come in quite as hard and um as
Is there any
devastating.
factual reality behind what you just said?
Yeah, actually,
Like there's
they've
sourceable proof.
yeah, so there are
How do they know?
wind farms that they're showing are starting to bring in ocean life around the the pillars and stuff that and it's changing currents a little bit so that um
I don't necessarily think that's a good idea.
why we're
I
destroying so much of
okay,
the
well, yeah, you ain't wrong. I mean, okay, fair enough. Fuck it, why not? This is some human shit too. Fuck it, why not? Let's do it. So no, I do understand your basic premise, and I know you're going to go find an article to support your theory here. I know that's what's happening. So in the long run, like if we do renew, like just say we did invest in solar, right? Like Back to the Future hasn't happened because we're stuck on oil. That's why it hasn't happened. Like if we would have invested heavily into just solar, like I said, we were like, oh, scientists are right. The ozone, hey, scientists are saying save the earth, and we can do it by doing this. If we would have done that, first off, I think we probably have fairly clean air and clean water today. I mean, look how quick shit cleared up in the pandemic when we shut everything down. It was like a week. And the earth was like, oh, cool, I'll heal myself now. So I think that where would we be, right? Where would we be technologically? Like, how much more advanced, how much quicker would we have gotten to the GPUs we have today, right? Where the energy cost is one of the energy and water cost, right, are some of the biggest detractors to increasing our technology at this point. So, de facto marine protection, that's restrictions. That's not
right.
telling me
Seals and
what's
predator
happening.
foraging shows that they've adapted to forage around there. Artificial reef effect, so by providing habitats because of the infrastructure needed.
That makes sense.
Economic revitalization, just because humans in the area are able to have jobs and things like that. Increased biodiversity. Yep. So,
Yeah, but
and
where
I'm
is
there.
won't have hurricane hit me in face? Where's
Yeah,
that?
let me find the
That's a little
there's
deeper. I'm sure it exists. I'm
well,
tempted.
we haven't gotten to the level where there's enough of them in order to create a buffering effect yet.
I mean, it somewhat makes sense to me. Don't get me wrong. It does somewhat. It hits land. It slows down. It breaks up. That the the physics are there.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's really interesting, right? So yeah, so suspend the gas tax, fuck infrastructure, and Al Gore should have won the election. We definitely got there. Then at the on that, right? So we have a full constitutional fight in the tariff war. Like so, it's very underreported, but we're finding reserve
So
chair
so
Kevin
basically,
Warsh. That is the most yes man ever.
I know, right? So I brought this up because it kind of goes in line with kind of what Trump's going to be pushing for economically in order to make things better for us. And we talked about this last week, I think, was, if they drop interest rates, the economy is just going to be a runaway train without any brakes, and it's going to be a disaster when it falls off the rails. So,
Look, if I get
um,
800 for my house, then I'll sell it. Like if it heats up, like if
my my uh my ex is buying a house in the school district that I kept this house so that the kids could, stay in their same school district. I swear, if she starts fighting me, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and sell this thing. Um,
that'll be cute. So Hey, if we want to cut the fucking rates. Let's heat this bitch up.
right?
So no, but the tariff, right? Tariff refund obligations surpassed 35 billion.
Yep. Yeah,
So
like the all of that trade deficit, credit that we gave Trump, that's all gonna, get
white,
negated. Yeah.
white, and
So,
then we have a declining GDP.
yeah.
So
And just to reflect back on what we were talking about with China, here's some graphics for that. As far as trade partners with the world, 2001 to um, 2025, 30
oh,
economies traded more with China than the U.S., and now in 2025, 145 economies trade more with China than the U.S.
so I think that actually has a lot. Like I like it, right? And it's positive for us, but I also think it has a lot to do with the shift in manufacturing.
Sure, absolutely,
So
but
and that's where he's supposedly trying to get it to come back. I don't think that's realistically what's
yeah, I
happening.
mean
But
that's just not something that's going to happen. We moved to a service and financial based economy. We sent all of those jobs over there, so we weren't doing them anymore. That we're not bringing them back. It's just not going to happen. We don't pay the average American enough in order to bring it all back so that they can buy the goods from workers here. We're just not going to do it.
well, there's lots of pieces to it, and I think one of the most important pieces to it is we don't manufacture or produce is a better word raw inputs anymore.
Right, right. So the
So
raw
even
the
if
raw
you even if
materials,
yeah, so even if you brought let's say clothing manufacturing back,
yeah,
right?
that right
Just
here,
use that.
textiles,
Yeah,
metals,
we don't grow
plastics, and
right,
rubbers.
we don't grow cotton. So how are we gonna make it? We don't grow cotton anymore. We don't, right? Like we don't have the inputs, and they don't understand that part. To bring manufacturing back, you actually have to bring inputs back, and our economy is so far beyond that. The infrastructure for it's also gone. So, like, do a bunch of people down south want to become cotton farmers again? I just feel like if they did, they wouldn't have sold out in the first place.
I
So
can tell
don't go
you.
there. Don't. God damn it. Don't go there. So I knew when I said let's use clothing, I'm like, this is gonna end poorly. This is gonna end poorly because there's only one direction to go with it,
Right,
and
right.
it's too late. I've already pot committed, so I have to go on. But yes, no, they don't want to. Okay, for whatever variant reasons, they don't want to. So Butch brings up whatever. We're on the South, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but let's bring this up.
Yeah,
They have
yeah. Good
100%.
segue.
They have 100% returned Jim Crow voting maps to the South. Like they are disenfranchising black voters at a rate never seen before. Which I wasn't a huge fan. I liked her, but I didn't love her. She told you when he's done with the brown, he's going to come after the black. And they were done with the brown, more or less, and now they're coming back with the black. That's the other thing we don't really hear about the immigration, right? And the border chief resigned. So the border chief resigned. So that's more instability in the ICE world, right? So, oh look, you have that article ready. See, look. Yeah, Mike Banks, he's out of here. Look, he looks like a dick face, bro.
He does.
Look at that, bro. That dude looks like a '90s sitcom dad, mad as fuck, bro. So, but how come their particular badges look like security guard badges more than any of the other
Because
badges?
that's all they are. They have no. Uh,
So, and now we're going to give more authority to Tom Holman, right? That's what we're going to do
yeah.
here, right? Which, like I said, I don't hate that man. I don't. He seems
No,
to play by the
he's
rules more than most.
and he's not out there, making a spectacle of himself either.
Well, no,
You know.
because it's not a fucking spectacle; it's a job.
Right.
And shooting Americans in the face turns out bad fucking idea. Shooting Americans in the back, even worse idea.
Now,
So
now
for
this
being armed,
one,
I shot him because he was armed. After my partner disarmed it, but I shot him because he was armed in America. Really, you don't say. You don't say. Trump, David Venturilla, former private prison executive, former private, former private. This is the, this is definitely the Trump administration 2.5. We're basically on 2.5 now. Is definitely becoming like the advanced level apprentice.
well, and
It's
to
all
to
PE.
bring
It's
up
all private equity, right? It's all
right, right,
PE people.
exactly. To bring private prison executives into ICE is just showing exactly what we were all afraid of, which was that they were using ICE as a way to bolster slavery, legal slavery, because the only way that you can legally enslave people now is by putting them in prison.
Okay, that's facts. I won't get into all the ways I know that's facts, but that's facts. And anyone who knows me knows I know. Not real anymore though. But I know in the time what school they sent me to. Rest in peace, Phyllis, man. She was a G. That school they sent me to. I loved it when she told me that. That school they sent you to. Yeah, yeah, Grandma. That's what it was. But you're not wrong, but we're also closing. Like we opened all these, right? Alligator Alcatraz closing. The one they built in Indiana closing. They're all closing because what happened? Like because you can't. I think they're at a stalemate, right? They're not openly talking about it, and I think maybe that's why this border chief, because he was like, this dude was Ruha, like the crazy
Yeah.
psychopath that was in charge, that thought he was a fucking modern Nazi. Um, he was Ruha. Maybe he's like, because they're low key telling him, look, we can't deport all these people because there's
Well,
nobody
and
taking the
and
fucking job.
I wasn't able to find the PBS article that I was looking at earlier today, but um like in out of 10,000 cases or something, like 80% of them are being either dismissed outright or are not going in ICE's favor. So the there's a
Well,
lot of processing that is happening right now, and it's not looking good for them. So that's another reason why they're doing the shakeup, and they're trying to switch gears. So they're finding that you know that judges aren't willing to go along with imprisoning people over a ticketable offense, and it's so I think that now what they're going to do is they're going to start trying to pivot, into one of the other plans that we've talked about. It looks like they're trying to do.
yeah, like I don't know. It's just another failure, right? Like failure after failure after failure after failure, and then spin, 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 spin. So it's wild, dude. It's wild. So and then the bobbleheads today, the nut job base Twitter folk, they're pushing a rumor that Tulsi Gabbard's offices got raided by the CIA
Yep.
over JFK
Yeah.
and MK Ultra files. So they love, dude. The fact that the MAGA base is like 30% pure conspiracy nuts that have been conspiracy nuts like my whole life.
Since JFK. Yeah.
Well, like my whole life, like I've known these people. They've been conspiracy, and they found this little home in MAGA. It's a really weird place, like where they finally found a group of people stupid enough to believe them about everything. Now, and I'm not saying that conspiracy theorists are wrong all the time.
No,
That's
no.
not true.
We've even had episodes where we've
Yeah,
said, you know what? We're sorry. We're
yeah.
sorry. You were
There,
all right.
you
There's a
were. I
huge cabal
mean,
that are
yeah,
eating children, and the Epstein files proved it.
yeah.
Congratulations, you're right.
You were right. So, so like there are
It's not
things
about
that
whom.
that's true, but they get things right sometimes, and they information is out there and they find it, but like They live it so like why JFK and MK Ultra? Like I thought we already knew, right? But there's like no verifiable information on this whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's
and
all lives and dies on Twitter, and they are like, "Oh yeah, I read it on Twitter, so it's for real, for real." Are you sure?
the
Because I'm
CIA
not
came
sure.
out and said that there's no investigation, there's no assets that they would use that for, and they're not designed to enforce warrants or anything like that to actually go in and do something like
The
that.
spies, I
So
can imagine that, but they are in Havana with the Cubans. That's verifiable. So CIA Director John Ratcliffe is in Havana. So, and it's really interesting. Like, so the CIA got him, and I think that the spin on that on the backside is because it's the deep state, and the deep state doesn't like Trump and MAGA. So I
oh,
think
that's where they're coming in from.
that's got to
Yeah.
be right. It's got to be so because they're fucking. So and it's like a rep. It started, I do believe, like in the Anna Luna. I'm pretty sure she tried to be a representative, or was, or is a representative. I don't know. She's one of them loopy motherfuckers that got in, if she is. So not as bad as old dude that got fired, but it's really interesting. So the economy's in shambles. China's bitch walking him, like literally dog walking him around the block. Um, in Beijing, which is super cool. Fox News got a ticket, and then they try to spin it and see how communist they are because they got the ticket because a camera caught them parking illegally. And they said, well, I only parked illegally for 4 minutes. Well, this is in America. Like, your State Department traditionally warns people if you go into these other countries, you are subject to their laws.
Right.
And so you
Yep.
should know what their laws are before you get yourself fucked up. So, you didn't know you couldn't park there. It probably clearly said, and if you didn't have anybody in the van who spoke Chinese, maybe a bad idea to go to China without somebody who speaks Mandarin. So there's actually a lot of dialects in China, but I'm assuming that most people know Mandarin. So,
Most
second,
most of them know English. Most of China it has both Mandarin and
most of the rest
English
of the
translations
world,
everywhere.
yeah, most
Huh?
of the rest of the world has Englishes because English is the not no more 20, 50 years from now ain't nobody can speak English because who gives a shit because America imploded on itself.
Yeah, we're gonna speak Mandarin.
I'm not speaking fucking. I don't think they'll come here.
They don't
I
need to
don't.
come here.
That's
We
true.
didn't go there, but they still teach English in
Eh,
all of
we
their
kind
schools.
we kind of did,
No, we have never gone into China.
Okay, that's true. We were kind of friends in the World War II, so 'cause they also disliked Japan,
Right.
which was really
Because
weird that Japan ever whooped them, dude. Japan used to
so
put a whoop on them in China versus Japan.
well,
So
part of that number one, Japan is larger than you think. Most globes shrink
okay,
Japan by
that's
like a third,
fair
and
enough.
then on top of that, Japan has always been more technologically advanced than China, and they were welcoming of um, America and imperial trade. So that's why they were so far ahead of China in that regard. But if you talk to pretty much any Asian culture over there, you will find that Asians are quite racist towards each other.
Dude, I think the tribalism of humanity, human beings does. This goes back to like, why do we got to project all this shit on aliens, bro? Like, just because we're like this, because we are absolutely positively like this, right? Like,
Well, you
we're
and I have talked many times about the natural processes that are involved in stereotyping and why we have things like racism and whatnot. And to think that anybody else sufficiently technologically advanced hasn't gone through that same history, I think is kind of
Projection.
Well, no, it's I think it's overly hopeful. I think that any biological being is going to go through that process. Now, the hope is that, because they're so technologically advanced, they've moved through that, they've evolved past those base instincts and silliness. But that's also like, humans hoping that, we'd be able to have a communist nation or a true socialist nation where it's, utopia, and we don't need a centralized government. But
Try to get us all fucked up.
we're not going to see that anytime in the next 100 years, promise.
We're not going to be alive. Just end that. We're not going to see that because we're not. Just end that. We're not going to see that because I've already openly told you. Even if they come out with the stay for a long time, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
If you're going to give me that, you got to give me that when my body didn't hurt from sleeping. So you got to give me that back then. Like somewhere between 22 and, okay, probably not a good idea. 25 and 28. Somewhere in there. Then maybe I would have stayed around for a while, but no. So I think we're seeing these giant patterns continuously emerge in the administration that are similar to the first administration, the first presidency. Like, it just took a little bit longer for the L's to start stacking up.
Well, they were a lot more efficient in kind of putting plans into action this time. With Project 2025, they had an outline instead of, they had these different talking heads that were all trying to do their own thing and enact their own plans. But Project 2025 really put it all together into something cohesive that could also play off of each other. So,
yeah, for sure. And we're seeing more and more and more where the GOP. I think we talked about turnout last week. I think that's really important that Republican turnout was really suppressed in both Ohio and Indiana. However, it is seemingly becoming a loyalty matrix, which is another point over there in the authoritarianism box. So that loyalty piece is pretty important. And to get Americans to be loyal to politicians is kind of fucking wild. Senate fails to what? Republicans join Democrats. Well, yeah, because there's as many war hawks in the Democratic Party as there's in the Republican Party. But 50 to 49?
Yeah, 50-49. So I think there was 4 that
bailed on
over.
Them? Yeah.
Except for that damn John Fetterman.
You know what? Listen, I will not hate on John Fetterman. I will not hate on Fetterman because he is the most I will actually do what I believe in motherfucker out there right now. Him and Massey.
Yeah, but I don't think he understands why he supports Israel.
He doesn't need, don't vote for him then if he doesn't understand. So, but he don't fucking vote for him. He's there and he does what he wants to fucking do. And I'm good with that. I will take that. Like, more politicians like that, probably a good idea to a degree. Because I think we definitely have somebody in charge right now just do whatever the fuck he wants to do too, and that's not working out. So, and Kayla too says, so we had 4 bail and then 1 bail. So really we were net 3. And if we're net 4, it's 50-50, and Vance obviously goes, so we have to be net 5 to go the other way. It does look like the Senate is becoming more unachievable, polling-wise, come midterms, but we'll see. I do think Talarico is going to win in Texas, and I think that's fucking wild.
Yeah, I do.
That we're really going to have the religious white boy from southern Texas, bro, is gonna a blue senator from Texas, dude. It's been some minutes.
Well, and not just blue, but like a true Christian, the one that has all of the right, background and backs it up. I was watching one of his town halls where, he likes to sit down across from constituents and actually talks to them about, what he believes and his history. He was talking to a guy whose brother was killed by police. And and he was talking about how he worked with a family um, who put together a bill in regard to police brutality and things like that. And he was like, don't believe what I say, believe what I'm doing and what I've done. So
Yeah.
you know, he's
No, he's
bringing
pretty fucking articulate.
not only articulate, but also like he's bringing a level of integrity back to the conversation that I saw with like Pete Buttigieg and and guys like that. Even back to Obama.
You always like to bring up the black guy, like he can do
God,
things right, bro.
I keep listening to like side
Well,
by side
he was with
comparisons.
Talarico. He was walking around with him. They got tacos together.
Yeah, dude.
And
Like,
Talarico goes to the taco joint so much she knew the order. She's like, "Oh, you get this," and so like that's what I do like. He's an everyday person,
yeah,
so and he
absolutely.
definitely communicates like morally and emotionally. He doesn't
Right,
communicate like canned and boxed and
right.
politicized and politified and spun, and he's just him, right?
Yep.
So
And he was a teacher, like
yeah,
you just, I mean,
raised by a single mom.
yeah, yeah.
So
I keep saying, we
preacher's
need to,
daughter.
he needs to make a run for president.
Well, I think if he does actually win Senate seat out of Texas, that
Then he'll be set
the
up.
powers to be are quickly going to start whopping the machine. So, like, I mean, AOC came in a complete firebrand, and now she's not.
They're tempering her for a higher office.
Right, she's not institutionalized. Like,
Right.
she's not been neutered, but
Right.
she has been told, hey, you could be bigger than this, and if you
Right.
want to be bigger than this, you have to appeal to the middle.
Yeah, we need to groom you.
Yeah,
You know.
and they are grooming her correctly, in my
Right.
opinion, too.
I
So
agree.
they did also lash out talking about people who aren't president. They recently just randomly lashed out against MTG too because she like moved to Costa Rica.
No
Like,
shit.
yes,
Man.
dude. I'm telling you, bro. Like that, I never, ever, ever. I would have lost all my money if you'd have told me one day I might actually like that bitch.
I know, right?
So, but
Like
I might actually like this chick.
everything she's doing, I'm like, yep.
Well,
Yeah.
because she figured out that we were right. Like, I guess she isn't stupid. She's like, you fuckers
Well,
are
she is
full of
stupid,
shit.
but she
But
once
not
she
stupid
figured it
enough
out,
to believe
instead
the
of
bullshit, bro.
but instead of standing up and saying I was wrong, I'm gonna fight to make this right. She said, you know what? I fucked up, but this is all fucked up, and I'm out.
Yeah,
So
she did the first part first and then bailed. She did openly come out and say this shit ain't right and it wasn't supposed to be like this and he's full
yeah,
of shit.
but it
He's
was
a
all at
con
the same time. It
man.
was,
Yeah,
this
well,
is
yeah, because with these fucking people, I'd bail like that too. They'd probably try to fucking kill you.
I know, yeah,
So
yeah. By
they'd
the way,
probably try.
I have not heard anything more about the bodies that they possibly found out in New Mexico.
Yeah, I haven't. Nope. Not that'll disappear, dude. I bet there's a conspiracy theorist out there that could hook us up though. So,
Yeah, drop it in the comments.
yeah. So they are saying that Massey might be unseated now in Kentucky. That would be interesting. I'll see. I think Democrats would cross over. I'm not sure what Kentucky's rules are, but I think Democrats would cross over.
Well, and like Louisiana is going through something right now where like they're trying to suspend voting, which might end up being illegal. So I think that this whole redistricting thing is starting to become clear for some state um, politicians, and some of them are pumping the brakes.
Yeah, that they know that some shit's going down that shouldn't be going down.
Well,
And
that they might get dinged over the head and charged with criminal um, criminality for disenfranchising voters.
Yeah, one day get arrested. That'll be too weird, though. If we regain power in 28, I don't want to arrest people. That's just going to fuel the fire. Unless you can come out, well, it doesn't matter, bro. I used to live in the world where I believed the logical argument where you gave verifiable proof and sources would change people's minds, but that world doesn't actually exist. So, fuck all that in the box of crackers it came on. We find ourselves in exciting times, very exciting times, living.
Okay, no bodies have been found, but they see areas that they're searching that look like grave sites.
Oh, okay. That's
Two bodies.
two grave sites or two bodies. Reading the English. You told people drop in the comments and you couldn't help yourself.
I could not help myself.
You couldn't help yourself.
No, they have not found
the
anything yet, but they are working with the new owners.
Yeah, you might be on the spectrum. That's fine. So,
almost definitely.
Get you a fucking helmet at school, dude. I'll probably get canceled for that. Yeah, no, I do like it, and I like that there's some hope, and I like that we're coming up on midterms, and probably also coming up on our summer break sometime soon. So, a bit midsummer break, because there's only so much of this shit I can tolerate, bro. Like, there's only so many weeks where I can actually dive deep into this shit, and it starts to spin my brain out.
Oh yeah, dude.
Not that I can't comprehend. I fully fucking comprehend, and that's why it's a problem.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
There's so many days that I wish I was stupid.
It makes me really, really upset with humanity a lot of times when I'm reading about, the fact that we're entertaining Netanyahu suing because, people are accusing them of raping Palestinians.
You totally had to say fuck Israel. I knew you were going to get it in there.
One more. Two more.
Two more fuck Israels? God
Two more
damn.
fuck Israels. Ultra-nationalists start chanting racist slogans during Jerusalem Day March.
Okay, that's not shocking.
Right? And I keep seeing this, like the, calling them settlers, but they're not settlers. They're raiders. They're going into Palestinian and West Bank and Gaza and areas, and they are raiding and destroying people's property in order to be able to take that land. They're not settling. It's quite the opposite. So, and you and I talked about this a little bit earlier. Israel has killed 854 Palestinians and injured almost 2,500 since the ceasefire. And that's just with the Palestinians. That's not talking about Lebanon, where they've killed a couple thousand since the ceasefire with Iran. Yep, fuck Israel.
I knew he could get his fuck Israel in there. So, no, 100%, you're not wrong, though. You know what I'm saying? You got yourself a whole lot of proof in the pudding there. So, no, we interesting times, man. Interesting fucking times. So, really fun to watch him get dog walked in China by Xi.
Yeah, so and not only that, like, Xi didn't meet them when they got off the plane.
Because he's a fucking G. Not just G, he's a G.
He's a G.
Yeah. That was not intentional. But funny.
The opinion and analysis that I read today did show that Xi is definitely outmaneuvering Trump in all of this, and I think that we're going to see now. Unless they're making a deal for the moon base to defend us against aliens, I think that we're going to see America take an L on this one, yeah. So
So, no, I 100% agree with you, but I'm down for the moon base too. Just for the record, totally down for the moon base. So, but yeah, that's another fun week of Trump fucking our country over and getting absolutely humiliated by a real leader, but that's okay. Oh, they're not gonna like me for that one, but fuck them.
yeah.
So,
Oh man, and I spent about an hour watching the Iran Lego videos.
told you,
Dude,
I told you,
oh
classic
my goodness. Like
W.
they they are on fire. The
They're on
fact
fire,
that
dude. They know what they're
they're
doing
trying to speak directly to Americans saying, we don't want to hurt you. We just don't like your leaders. I mean, it's
because they don't want to hurt us because they've been, dude. Most human beings would be okay without people in power, but we'll leave it at that.
that's
Oh,
communism.
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna throw it in there, bro. I knew you were gonna throw it in there. So, all right. Until next week, y'all. Bluebird on your shoulder.
You guys.